Okay, it is August 14th, 2024 at 6 p.m., 6:01 now. This is the regular meeting of the Sewer Department. My name is John Reynolds. I'm the chairman of the Sewer Commission, and I'd like to open with the Pledge of Allegiance. Michael, if you want to hold up your flag, I'll start us off. I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the
of the
United States
of
of
America
America
and
and
to
to
the
the republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
Great, thank you. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public who would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar number 871-1768-1305. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your number and an email address, and no participant ID is required. Just press the pound symbol. Attendance, real quick. Just say aye. Mike Mackin,
Aye.
Brett Ramsden,
Aye.
aye for myself. We have a quorum. Staff members, Jane Rainley,
Here.
Paula Bertram,
Here.
and Bill Bernard.
Here.
Okay. I'm not seeing any general public, so any public comment from the staff or commissioners? Okay.
Well,
I would.
I'll start.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm just want to express my gratitude for, everything that Paula has done in her time with the Sewer Commission. I know that it's later in the agenda that you're announcing your resignation, but I think it's already public knowledge. So I feel free to acknowledge, the work that you have done, and acknowledge the frustrations of the fact that our town has not been able to fix a problem that seems longstanding. And we hope that that's going to change. But one of the things I want you to know is that, you've had a long history of service to the town, and you have my gratitude.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Well, I would basically echo what Mike said. Adding that it's as a commissioner, it's going to be difficult moving forward without you and John, for that matter. And I don't know who we're going to find to run things as smoothly as you have, regardless of the incredible tidal waves. I was going to say waves, but more like tidal waves you've had to deal with over the last year, with little or no assistance or help from anybody, or support. And totally understand you needing to go, and I'm very happy for your new opportunity. Wish you the best, and know you will land on your feet. Just know you will be incredibly missed, and appreciate everything you've done. And without repeating everything Mike said, thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, Paula, I echo everything that Mike and Brett have said. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you. You know that. You are going to be missed, and I truly am going to miss working with you. But so, well, excuse me, you will be successful.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna miss all of you and I really appreciate the kind words and I really enjoyed working with all of you and I've got one more meeting to go, so I'm not leaving yet.
We have someone from the public who's trying to join. Do you see
Oh.
anyone?
No. Oh, there he is. Yep. Okay, I think they have joined. At least it tells me they have, but I don't see them.
Okay, someone's joined. It says Malone. Is that you, Scott?
Their
You're-
microphone is off and there's no video.
Right.
I just requested they unmute, but I don't know
I'm sorry, Polly, you just requested what?
that they unmute, but I don't know if it went through.
Right.
Maybe they're here to observe.
I'm going to ask this person a question, okay? Give me a second here. Okay. The screen that says Malone is Scott Foreman, who has expressed an interest in joining the sewer commission.
Oh, wonderful.
So hopefully,
Excellent.
Scott, could you, if you can hear me, could you just text me that you can hear me? Okay, he can hear. So he's going to be observing the meeting. Scott, I'm sorry you had some trouble connecting. We started the meeting at 6. We've asked for public comment. A couple of the commissioners and myself have expressed our views about having worked with Paula Bertram, the sewer business manager, who is leaving at the end of this month. And from there, we are going to go to announcements. Does anyone have any announcements to make? Okay. I guess the only announcement I have, obviously you know that I'm stepping down, and I just want to make something really clear. I know you guys understand. I'm not leaving because of anything that is or isn't going on in the town these days. I thoroughly enjoyed being on the sewer commission, working with the sewer department. I hope that someday I can come back onto the sewer commission. I just, like I said before, it's not in the cards for me, but again, it's been great being on the sewer commission. I would recommend it to anyone. Okay, current business. The minutes from 4:30 and 6:25. We all had a chance to read those.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept the minutes from the 4:30 meeting?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the 4/30/24 meeting.
Second,
Okay. Roll call vote here. Brett,
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
I for myself. The minutes are accepted. The next minutes are from the 6/25/24 meeting. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept those?
I'll also make a motion to approve the 6:25:24 minutes.
Okay. Mike, you want a second? Okay. Um, any further discussion on those? Seeing none, roll call vote. Brett,
Aye.
Mike,
I,
aye for myself, and minutes are accepted. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the sewer manhole overflow from this past Sunday. Bill, I'll let you
Mhm.
sort of summarize that that whole event from the. I forgot who it was who called you first, but anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so Sunday night around 7 p.m., the resident on Sunset Avenue saw water coming down his driveway. It's a gravel driveway, and they smelled sewer. They noticed coming out of a sewer manhole. I assume they called the police, who called the DPW. We sent the guy out, confirmed what was happening. Yep, it was overflowing. We called out a Vector truck. So the Vector truck sucked out the manhole, and we found that there was a leak in the pipe. In that area, it's pressure system. So it's a closed system. So inside the manhole, there was a couple connections, and one of the fittings had cracked, and the water was just squirting out of it. And eventually it had filled up the manhole, and then every time somebody flushed the toilet, it was running down the hill. So we called out our contractor CTE. They got right out there. They were great. And within a half an hour of them arriving, they had it repaired. They actually used a part that was there as kind of a spare part, and got it back together. We repressurized the system, and everything was okay. The next day we went back, the DPW went back. We put lime over the area where the water had run. And then we, excuse me, covered the area with stone dust, the kind of fixed their driveway, cover the area. They were concerned they had a dog, and they were concerned the dog might be licking the ground. It was Sunset Avenue, which is right over Lake Whalum. So I was out there in the woods with a flashlight. John was there. We made sure that the water did not make it into the lake. I could trace it. It kind of went in two directions. One direction I could see right where it stopped. The other direction, it went towards an abandoned house. It looked like it was going under the house. So I went around the front of the house. There was no sign. So I'm 100% confident nothing went into the lake. The fitting that broke, it's a pressure fitting. It's made for this. Who knows? Maybe it was a bad fitting, bad manufacturer, or maybe it got damaged at installation. We'll never know, but shouldn't have happened, but it did.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Mhm.
And Bill did send out or filled out a sanitary sewer overflow notice to the, see, that goes to the EPA, is it, or the DEP?
DEP.
Both.
Both, okay.
Yeah.
Just, describing, it's a 3-page form.
Mhm.
Just a requirement, that was taken care of. Any questions for,
is
Bill?
there anything you would recommend that we do going forward is there inspections that might be needed at this point?
I mean, to be, yeah, maybe overkill. We could pop open the manholes, check them out, make sure there's no other fittings that are leaking. We did open, I don't know how many manholes, John, like 3 or 4 in the area. There
Right,
was no
right,
other problems there. The manholes had water in them, but it's a closed system, so that water's not infiltrating into our system, so that was okay. But we talked about getting a few spare parts. You know,
Yeah,
yes, have them on the shelf at the DPW, because Sunday night, there's no place to buy one, right?
right.
So
Right.
going
Right.
forward, we'll get some parts.
Um, yeah, I don't, I know that's an item later down on the agenda, but we might as well talk about it now. Yeah, I don't think it would take many parts. That was looked like a 3-inch line. The line on Lancaster Ave is a 2-inch. I don't think there'd be anything smaller than a 2-inch. So, a handful of parts just to have on hand. Like you said, it was fortunate that CTE had what was needed. So,
I did ask Robert to put together a list, and get us some prices so that we can go ahead and acquire some parts to have at the DPW. So I know that Wade and Robert are actually looking at, working on that.
Good thinking.
the other thing that, as we're talking, I'm remembering the extension on Lancaster Ave, which is also a low pressure system. I believe has a clean out valve that I think it actually is supposed to be exercised periodically. And I don't recall if the lines that went in on over around Lake Whalum have that, because it's a larger line. Maybe it's not needed, but it's just probably something to take a look at. Any other questions about the spill or spare parts? I mean, the most exciting time Sunday night was when the manhole was being pumped. And I think Bill and myself and Rob all said, I hope that's rain. Because all of a sudden, as soon as he started pumping, there was water dripping on us. And sure enough, it started to rain. So,
Luckily, I'm glad to hear it was rain.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you to Bill and John and everyone else and CTE for jumping on the situation and taking care of it and helping it become a happy ending, and avoiding a larger catastrophe, as it sounded it could have been. Once it entered the lake or a person's house, things get really messy and expensive. So I just want to extend the gratitude to those on this meeting and who aren't on this meeting who got the job done. So thank you.
okay, great. All right, so the next item is sewer commission vacancies. As you know, there are currently 2 open positions. There will be one opening up at the end of this month. I have spoken to one person who's observing tonight. He expressed some interest, and I'll certainly will follow up with him. And I called someone else today who expressed an interest on Monday to Dave McDonald's, who used to be a sewer commissioner, but I haven't spoken to him, so I feel like I can't really share his name in public. But I'll try to get a hold of him again tomorrow.
I just want to stress the importance of making sure we fill that vacancy, because I did look up the open meeting law, and if we only have 2 commissioners, we cannot call a meeting.
Correct.
So it's imperative that we do get a 3rd member before John's departure, or very shortly thereafter.
Right. Okay.
It's a very big concern.
The manhole IFP. So Bill, Paula, whichever one of you want to give us an update on that.
I know that I sent the draft out to everybody, and I know Bill had some concerns about more specifics relative to the work, that the specifications, and so Bill can add on to that. But before we go into that, I do just want to say really important, and Bill and I talked about this today, that it goes out ASAP because the selectmen are in the process of reviewing the ARPA allocations, and we need to have a contract in hand by November at the latest. At last night's meeting, they talked about moving it up to September, which certainly is not doable.
Wow.
So I did, at a previous meeting that I was in attendance at, I informed the select board that we were in the process of doing the RFP or IFB, and stressed the importance of maintaining that $100,000 allocation. But it really is important that we get it out ASAP. It has to go through procurement. It will have to go through Julie Bellevue for her additions under, Mass General Law, of certain forms that need to be included, et cetera. So we are looking at a few weeks, and it's just important we get it out. But Bill can talk about what he's working on.
Yeah, so Paula did a great job putting it together. But I think it needs more definition of the specifications, how they're paid, the description of each of the items, and then how it's paid. You need to put that in there. Otherwise, it's too vague. It's a little bit too wide open. I could interpret it one way, the contractor can interpret it another way, and it just gets messy. So I started to work on that. Then it became a crazy week, so I'll get to it soon.
Okay, any other questions regarding that? No. Okay, for anyone who might end up watching this on YouTube, the manhole IFB is the select board granted us $100,000 for manhole repairs last year, right? And that's what that money, that $100,000 is being used for. Okay, the next item is the Q1 commitments, and this was for the quarterly sewer billing, usage billing.
Yeah. And the amount of the commitment is $298,135.94.
Okay, so if someone, we have to vote on that. If someone wants to make a motion to pay the commitment of $298,135.94, if they could make a motion.
As
I'll make-
motioned.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to clarify you're approving the commitment. We don't pay it.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, approving the commitment.
Yeah.
Mike, it's all yours.
I make a motion that we approve the commitment.
In the stated amount.
$298,000 change.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, we have a motion. Anyone want to second that?
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, let's take a roll call vote. Mike,
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
I for myself, the motion passes, and we have to do a DocuSign for that. You
Right.
sent
And
that
Yes.
out earlier today.
We
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
I already signed it.
I did as well.
Okay, I have not. Okay. Business managers report.
So the resignation we've already talked about. My last day will be Thursday, August 29th. And I'll let Bill talk about where we are with hiring and training, et cetera.
Really appreciate you putting in the time to train the new person.
Well, we'll see how that goes, but Bill can talk.
Yeah.
Right, so the job has been posted. So Julie was doing interviews for other positions, and there was one candidate she thought was a great fit for this position. So that turns out the day it was posted, we actually brought her in for an interview. She was very good. we're hoping to get a few more candidates to look at, nothing yet. And,
Did this person express any interest?
oh yeah,
in this?
yep, definitely, definitely. She's got a
Wow.
good background, no sewer background, but that's all right, but business background, then business manager type background, definitely.
Did she appear to be a quick study, Bill?
She did, yes.
Okay.
I
Does she
don't
have
think
any?
we should hesitate
Go ahead.
to.
Do you know if she has any? I know you can't reveal too much to us, but does she have any municipal background?
No municipal, but she's worked in the private sector, but she has worked with government contracts.
Okay. Oh, government contracts. That's good.
Good.
So she's being interviewed by Julie, you,
And
Bill.
myself, yes.
Well, I don't know if this is appropriate or not. Would Paula have an opportunity to?
I was just going to suggest the same thing. If anybody
Yeah,
knows who's
I don't know
capable, it
what
would be Paula.
protocol. Sorry, I'm sorry, Brett. Go ahead.
No, I overspoke with you, John. Please continue.
I don't know what the protocol is. I would value Paula's input. I guess that's what I would say.
Well, at this point, the interview's over, but
Okay.
Paula's definitely seen the resume, so.
Okay.
And Bill did talk with me about coming back, to do some training. I will be working full-time, so I informed Bill that I'd be happy to do that, but it will be during the evening, a couple nights a week. So happy to do that to try to ease the transition. I do think it's going to be important that I come back, in addition to the initial training is the first billing. Just based on the nightmares we've been having, I think it probably makes sense for me to come back at least the first week of November as well. But happy to do that and want to see the sewer commission and the sewer department continue to succeed.
Go ahead, Mike.
As a newbie, is there a role for the commissioners in this?
My understanding, if the commissioners, I believe, can say yay or nay. I think that's in the town charter, isn't it, Paula? Town bought some. I think the sewer commission has input. I'll have to look it up and I'll get back to you, Mike.
Okay.
Good question.
Again, it was not meant to be controversial. It was like a
No.
I will say in the past, I've been told it's a town manager appointment. But, certainly worth looking into. I honestly
Well,
don't.
having been on, any number of town committees, there's usually, cross department, there's some input from somebody other than the town manager. And
Right.
so I would recommend that be part of it. It doesn't have to be the entire commission. Just
I think it sounds like
having been on the school committee, we always had, at least one, community member, even though the school committee had, the ultimate authority to appoint, there was at least, a broad spectrum. Much like, when we do other appointments, there are, the town moderator has, calls a group together that's a cross spectrum of various committees in appointments. And I just think it might be worthwhile to, get somebody to.
right. I think it's a good idea. I'll look into it tomorrow. And it sounds like you're volunteering, Mike.
I am.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
I do have one question, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman. Before we get too far off the subject, Paula, did you have a chance to look at this resume in any detail?
I'm not sure which individual was interviewed.
Oh.
So I don't know, but I will certainly make a point to do it tomorrow. But I honestly, I don't know who it was.
Your opinion would matter to us,
Well, thank
and
you.
myself, and
Since I'm not really involved in the interview process, I can't really
Right.
make the recommendation.
okay,
Okay.
well, thank you anyways.
Well, look, while we're on this particular item, I'd like to have Paula's resignation letter added to the minutes if that's all right with the rest of the commissioners. Probably
Absolutely.
we probably should vote on that. So if someone wants to make a motion,
I will make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
okay, and
Absolutely.
any further discussion? No. A vote, Mike,
I,
Brett,
Aye,
and I for myself. The motion passes. Jane, if you could include Paula's resignation letter with the minutes, we'd appreciate it.
is Jane there?
Uh-oh, looks like we lost Jane. No, the recording is there, so I'm sure
Right.
will have.
I'm sure.
She watches the recordings. Okay, Paula, grease traps.
I honestly have not printed the report, so I can't really give you an update. I can tell you that there have been a couple non-compliances with late reports, but not anything overly alarming. But I did want to ask the commission, typically this time of year, we send out the renewals. And I'm not sure if you want me to do that prior to my departure, or if you want to wait for the new person to do it, because once the renewals start to come in along with the checks, then you need to do the permits. I have created a database that makes the permit generation very easy. But I just want to kind of looking for direction from you guys on whether you'd rather wait or whether you want me to go ahead and send them out.
I guess part of that might depend on, you've only got X amount of hours left.
It's very easy to do. I've automated the entire process.
If you're able to do that, Paula, I think it might be just throwing it out there, anything you're able to check
Yeah.
off the list before a new person who's guaranteed to be overwhelmed
Yeah,
comes back,
it's very
would be
easy.
appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. It's very easy. It's literally the push of a button at this point. So
Okay.
I will take care of that. And prior to the August 27th meeting, I will put together a list of things that I think need to be worked on. John and I have talked about this a little bit. Things like the NIPD's permit, reports that we're going to need to work on. I have put together a general outline of an emergency preparedness plan, but it needs to be really completed. So I'll put together a list of the various projects that I'm working on. And I am in the process of putting together a manual to go over, how to do billing, how to do a final bill, how to do an adjustment. So I am putting together how to submit an invoice. So I'm putting together a manual that hopefully will really help the transition.
Thank you very much, Paula.
Okay, thank you. Munis software update.
So it was mentioned at the selectmen's meeting last night that the bills did go out and they were correct, which was a pleasant surprise. When we tested them initially in the training database, they were not correct. And the consultant and I worked together and determined that they were not. We worked with Munis again and they reloaded a form correction. And the amounts on the bills were then correct and we were able to get them out. But there remains to be a number of issues with Munis. So I have sent an email to Peggy Wintle and copied the interim town manager as well as Bill and other individuals. But there are several issues still remaining that need to be addressed. There were a number of errors that were generated during the bill generation process. So I've sent print screens to Munis. We still can't do an account inquiry, which is a big problem, and that has been open since April. So I have put together a document that I'm emailed out today. Right now, I believe there are 4 or 5 open issues, which hopefully will get addressed. But we did run into 598 errors during the bill generation process, so it's not fixed completely, but at least the amounts were right, so. But just want to make sure that I put the ticket numbers and copied Ezzy, the finance director, who is now kind of the lead person with Munis, so that everyone is aware that these issues remain open.
And
So, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
no, go ahead, Brett.
So only 500 plus errors, that's, just great. I guess my question would be, and nobody is more on top of what's going on, obviously, than Paula here. Moving forward, and what do you see as possible rectification decisions could be made here? Not that you'll be doing it, but do we push the select board to get us a new software? I mean, is this Munis just plain something we have to seriously talk about scrapping? It's horribly affected our board. I can't imagine it hasn't affected other commissions and boards in town and other towns.
Well,
Where do we?
I can tell you it's affected other departments, and I know the finance director is exploring options. And that's, at this point, that's really all that I can say. Is I know that the select board is aware of the problems. The finance director and the treasurer tax collector have run into some significant problems. Currently, and I emailed it to Ezzy yesterday, there's a Muni update that there's a problem with closing the fiscal year that other communities are experiencing. So there are pretty significant problems. And I know the town is looking at other options and what our options are. And I will say that Ezzy has really taken the lead on working with Munis to try to correct these issues. And the consultant that he brought in, Randy Mercier, has been a great. He was able to determine right away what the problem was with the bills. So I think that's a step in the right direction. As you know, we submitted in our opera request funds to cover the cost of the consultant, and Ezzy did as well. So I think the town is trying to address the issues and exploring options.
The shame it's taken what it has taken to make this process finally start to happen. But thank you very, very much for your input, Paula. And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I think as a commission, I don't really think there's too much more we can do other than just keep updated at this point. What Ezzy is doing. It's been pretty frustrating to be responsible for this enterprise fund and not have control over software decisions. I know you all feel the same frustration. And other towns are experiencing, and Paula forwarded she's part of a chat room for municipalities that have Munis, and someone had put a very lengthy message in there. I think it was in California, having all the same kinds of problems and maybe some more. So, and it just seemed like the responses from Munis were the same kind of responses we would hear here, right, Paula?
Exactly.
There's a ticket. We've got this group working on it. It's a priority, but here we are. Anyway, I'm sure it'll fix.
Question to Paula. Do you have any idea what the annual cost of that contract is to the town?
I honestly don't know. I've heard some numbers, but I don't know whether they're accurate. I think it's
okay.
$50,000 to $60,000 range is what I've heard. But I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I seem to remember when Paul and I went before the select board. I think Selectman Emke asked that question, and Heather said the annual fee is $60,000.
For something that doesn't work.
Right. Okay. Anything else under business manager's report, Paula?
Nope.
Okay. Old business. This isn't really old business, but I made a note here. Paula, have you or Bill been able to talk to Robert yet about the phone line over at Dana Street that is on the ground?
We
I
did
think it's
ask him- We did
I think
ask
it's the
him
phone
about
line.
that, right?
Okay.
What did he say, Bill? I can't even remember.
I think we need to call Verizon.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I dropped the ball on that one. I should have called Verizon.
Okay.
I did myself a note.
Okay. Yeah, because I had nothing else to do one day, so I drove over to Dana Street. So okay. Any public comment from the public? Any public comment from any of the commissioners or staff? No,
I would just like to thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did want to just say, I know there'll be one more meeting for both of you, but thank you, Paula, again, and Sean as well for your time and dedication. You'll both be missed terribly.
Thank you, Brett. Hopefully I'll see you again someday on the sewer commission.
Hopefully
hope.
we will.
I would hope.
Great, thank you. I see Jane has her hand up.
Jane is not there.
Oh. Maybe she's just waiting. Good night. Okay. All right. The next meeting is August 27th, and then September 10th, September 24th, and October 8th, all regular meetings. So if no one has anything else, if someone wants to make a motion,
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
seeing no discussion, we'll take a vote here. Brett,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and I for myself. The meeting has come to a conclusion.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.